Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. Today we are working on a DIY Thanksgiving centerpiece decor, so let's get started. What I'm going to be working with for this project today, this is a kit from craftingwithkimber.com. I will have the link down below to this kit as well as the other little embellishment kit I will be using. Kim is a really wonderful, sweet friend of mine, and I asked her if I could do a project with this kit, so she gave me the pieces. This pumpkin is very huge. It's called Jumbo Shiplap Pumpkin Shelf Sitter. Huge. It's 17.5 inches tall, and then at the widest base at the bottom is 12.5 inches wide. It also comes with these little pieces for the back to kind of glue your pumpkin together. And then it has the base that it fits into as well. So I'm just going to kind of flip this over for a minute on the back so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You just lay them where you want to. It's your choice. And then the whole ensemble fits in that little bottom piece there. Now these are just a few pieces from the kit. It actually comes with 3 leaves, 3 stars. It has a wood tag with a heart. It also comes with burlap ribbon, paper covered wire, and twine. And this is one word from the embellishment set I'm using called Grateful, Thankful, Blessed Words with Shadows. 3 to a set. Of course, like I said, I'll have the links down below. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this pumpkin and the little back pieces and the base with Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Drop Cloth. I'll do 2 coats on all sides because I want the back and everything, of course, to be all finished off as well. I love this drop cloth shade because it's just a nice kind of off-white creamy shade, not too yellowy or anything like that. So once this is all done, I will be sanding it. I'm going to do it off camera, but I will use my electric sander. Right, everything is done here, sanded, distressed, ready to go. So you can judge how far apart you want your shiplap pieces, but the main thing to remember is the bottom edge there needs to fit in the slot of that. So just kind of measure it like I'm doing here, and then measure your bottom, and then make sure it doesn't extend past any longer than the slot in the baseboard. Okay, and then you just lay your pieces how you want here, of course, your choice, to hook everything together. And then what I decided to do, instead of just running glue all the way across, which I will be using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today, all the way across on these boards, I decided that I didn't want any glue to show from the front between the slats. So what I'm doing is just kind of laying it down here, as you can see, and then I'm skipping over where a slat would show, and then adding glue in the next section, skipping each slat area. So like I said, the glue does not show through. And I do that for all the pieces, and I can lay it down here and make sure that I've got it right. Nice and easy to put this together. The Beacon Fabri-Tac glue works perfectly here. You could use wood glue, you could use hot glue, you could use super glue, whatever you think will work best for you, or your favorite type of adhesive will be perfect for this. And then once I got the Beacon Fabri-Tac glue on, I just let it set for 20 minutes or so, because just to make sure everything's nice and stable so I could flip it over. The glue dries in about a minute, but I had it really thick, so I wanted to make sure it was really set. All right, so I'm going to be working with the stem today using wired rope, paper covered wire. So I'll be cutting off a few pieces here. I love to curl a lot of things around stems on my pumpkins just to give it a lot of texture. So 3 pieces of this paper covered wire, because I'll use a couple pieces somewhere else. And this, I love it. I just ordered it from craftoutlet.com. Of course, we'll have the link down below. This is moss rope garland. It's 25 feet and it's only $6.95. Love it. Little bit messy. Moss falls off, as you can see. I kept having to blow the moss off, but I love it. This is the first time I've used it. I'll also be using another ribbon from this site as well, and I will have those links down below for you. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned I will have the links down below to this Jumbo Shiplap pumpkin, as well as the words embellishments. So putting on the paper covered wire first, and then adding the wired rope on here. that glued on, and then I'll figure out how I want my moss rope garland to lay, and then I just kind of glue that off on camera. But again, so fun, and I could not believe $6.95 for 25 feet. So this is some product I'll be using from Rene Bouquets today. This is Rene Bouquet Chunky Chain Frame. I should have left a little bit more on it. It's a little bit short. You don't see much of it because I wanted a little bit more to be seen down at the bottom, but that's okay. This is pumpkin filler from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use like a chunk of this. And then I'll be using some other products here, of course. Get that glued on. And this is some dried flowers that I got at Dollar Tree. I love the little cute little fuzzy elements in there, so I've cut a few of those off. They weren't in any particular like fall or you know, Halloween or anything like that. They were just in the dried flowers section. So like I said, cutting a little bit of that off. And then these sticks I'm using came from the set of 3 orange broom sticks that you get in the Halloween section at Dollar Tree. Cutting a few of those off. I'm going to lay just some of these on both sides. Now this isn't going to look pretty here, but don't worry, you know, we'll make it pretty in the end. Kind of seeing how I want to arrange things here so it kind of matches both sides. I used the little fuzzy orange pieces because they match with like the pumpkin on the right side, so there's a method to my madness. A little bit of orange because I kind of wanted oranges and greens and browns today because, you know, it is for kind of a Thanksgiving centerpiece. This is just a little you know, flower thing from Hobby Lobby, so I just cut a little bit off of that, kind of bring in the tones from the drop cloth paint on the pumpkin itself. These are some burlap leaves. It's just from some burlap fabric I have. I just cut a couple of leaves out, and I also cut out a piece for a bow you'll see later on. Going to be using some sisal here as well as some Excelsior. I'll have the link down below to where I get that from. I usually get my Excelsior from Joann's, but the place where I order the sisal, they also have the same Excelsior. So I'll just have those links down below for you. This is the ribbon I'll be using from Craft Outlet. It is moss, ivory, and rust ribbon. You get, it's 2.5 inches wide. You get 10 yards for $5.25. And this is just some really soft kind of burlap trim I picked up at Walmart, and I'm just cutting the wired ends off both of these and then pulling on the threads along all the sides to kind of fray the edges of my ribbons. And then I'll tie both of these into a bow here in just a bit. I love to fray my edges, gives it more of a rustic look. Do it on all my ribbons. Here's some of this kind of wired burlap trim. I think it's from Hobby Lobby. I just kind of cut it most of the way up, leave a little piece there so I can kind of split it apart, but have a place where I can glue it down, just so it hangs nicely at the bottom. This is just some twine. It came out of that burlap fabric. I just took a couple pieces. I'm tying a little knot at the top so I can glue it in and let the little ends hang down. Bringing in some more sisal here. Going to glue it down as well. I find it's easy with the sisal and the Excelsior to kind of, you know, make a little bunch at one end, glue around the bunch, and then lay that down. And you're going to get glue all over your fingers. Tying this plaid ribbon in a bow here. And then I also, once I get this into a bow as well as the burlap one, I go ahead and I pull on the threads a little bit more so that those kind of stick out and look even more rustic on the loops and on the tails. Trim that down just a little bit. Do the same thing with this burlap trim. I love this burlap trim from Walmart because it's just real soft, flexible, easy to work with. I make my loops rather big here on both of these because I will be setting a large flower in the middle of them, and I want to still be able to kind of see the loops around the edges. Trimming this down as well. Adding a little bit of burlap mesh tubing here. This is the last of it that I got from Dollar Tree. Really bummed. I only picked up one package. didn't think I'd use it much, but boy did I. Using this garland from Dollar Tree, pulled off a couple of leaves. This I got from Walmart, and this is Rene Bouquet's Ornate Pumpkins and Fancy Fall Corners, and that I cut in half. Just took one and cut it in half. And quilling leaves. Again, I will have the link down below for you. This is some raffia from Dollar Tree. I just took, you know, a couple, 2, 3 of those and tied it into a bow. Then I'll add in the burlap bow here. Then add in the plaid. Add in the leaves, just tucking things in and around all the little places I can tuck in and around, of course. Then gluing down this great big flower. This was like $1.34 at Walmart. Just cut off the long wired end. A wood leaf. These come in a bunch. Picked them up from Joann's. Here comes the burlap bow. And this is a twine bow, orange and white twine. I love to tie like bows and kind of kitty corner them down, you know, at an angle underneath the main flower, so it just adds more texture down at the bottom. So adding in some sisal here. This is like 3 pieces of that burlap twine, you know, that I pulled off the fabric, tying it into a bow all at once. Adding in some beaded picks here. I don't know where the footage went, but I already had glued in the little ornate pumpkin at the upper left top of the flower, and the quilling leaf up at the right side, and then the other little fancy fall corner up at the lower left side of the flower from Rene Bouquet's. Now I'm just tucking in some little pumpkin stems here from a pick I got at Joann's. Adding in some paper covered wire here that I cut right at the beginning. Kind of making a little loop at the bottom, so I've got an easy spot to be able to tuck it in with. Anywhere you can find a spot to tuck. Now I'm bringing in some Excelsior, and I'm just filling in all the areas that kind of look blank to me, making it look all nice and fall looking. I think that just adds a lot to it. I even tucked in the wood leaves from the kit on the top and the bottom of the flower. Yes, I do not know what happened to that footage. I'm sorry about that, but I tucked in those leaves from the kit. You can see them. I left them their original color, light brown, top and bottom of the wood flower. This is just a 3D-ish wood pumpkin. It came off of a pumpkin garland I got at Goodwill, but I think I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. And then I took the top layer off, and then I traced both pieces onto some cardstock, sewed around the edges, and now I'm taking the open end of my scissor blades and I'm just scraping along both pieces just so it kind of distresses these pieces, makes them look nice and rustic. Now go ahead and glue both pieces down. And then, of course, glue the top piece, wood piece, back onto the pumpkin. Now we've got a nice rustic pumpkin. Got a wood slice here. I want to go ahead and tuck that in. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, bag of wood slices. I think they're around $4 or $5. Just thought that'd give it a little bit more of that rustic look. And I've got a little clothespin from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to glue it onto this little fabric tag that I made, and then I will kind of clip that and glue it onto a petal of the flower, and then of course glue it a little bit onto the wood slice so that it doesn't get lost or anything. Stays in place. It doesn't flop around. It'll stay in place because it's on the petal of the flower. And these are some wood leaves I picked up at Hobby Lobby. Get them in. They had them in the fall section, but they also had them in the you know, craft wood section as well. And now I'm just taking a little bit of glue, just a bead, and gluing it all along the front and back and the sides of the pumpkin here, and then I'm going to pop it into the slit in the base. Now I'm taking this woodward from the woodward set, embellishment set from Crafting with Kimber, and I'm going to glue it onto the front of the pumpkin, and then I'm going to just mark it here, figure out where I want to glue it onto the bottom of the jumbo pumpkin here. And then once this is all glued on, that makes this project complete. So I hope you enjoyed this project today. I ended up putting it in one of those rectangular trays that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. I spray painted it black. It fits perfectly. You add some cute little pumpkins, some candles on either side, and it makes a stunning centerpiece for your table at Thanksgiving. It was very quick to put together. Besides just the painting of it, once I started decorating, it was done in about an hour. Just beautiful. Of course, as I stated earlier, I will have the links down below to the kit and other embellishment kit that I use from craftingwithkimber.com, as well as links to the products I use from Renee Bouquets, from Craft Outlet, and the other place that I can't remember right now where I get my sisal and where you can also purchase Excelsior. Please give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and let me know how you like this project. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos from me. Come follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, my blog. Come join my Facebook group. We are having so much fun in there. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.